Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to discuss English grammar. So I welcome you all for the English grammar class. Today we are going to discuss a module of grammar, that is degrees of comparison. While discussing the parts of speech, we have discussed about the different parts of a sentence: noun, pronoun, adjective, interjection, auxiliary verb, verbs, etc. Here, the adjective, the word, what is the role of adjective in a changes of a sentence or in the degrees of comparison? What do you mean by adjective, children? An adjective is a word which qualifies a noun. An adjective is a word which describes a noun. Now let's see what is the meaning of degrees of comparison and what is the role of adjective in the degrees of comparison. An adjective of quality changes its form when it is used to compare one noun with another. When we are going to compare the different nouns with one to another, what is the changes and what we do see, that is called as the degrees of comparison. There are three degrees of comparison. They are positive degree, comparative degree and superlative degree. So there are three degrees of comparison. I will just to remember, I will give you one term there so that it is a fun way of learning the English grammar. The bodyguards or the extra words what we do along with the adjective here in the positive, in the comparative and in the superlative. Let's see that. In the positive we do use the word no other. That is in the type 1 we do use the extra word, or I will give you the term as the bodyguard. Without that we cannot identify a sentence. So you should in a capacity to identify the sentence and how to change into other degrees. So you should have that knowledge. Here the comparative degree than, that is the bodyguard than, and in the superlative the. So these are the three important things that you have to remember while changing from one degree to another when you are going to have the changes. So in the positive degree, no other or very few, and as, here, than, that's a bodyguard, and in the superlative the. Now let's see when we or how we can explain the positive degree. Actually, positive degree, we are having the comparison with the only one object, and in the comparative, two objects, or we could see places, people. But here in the superlative degree, there may be more than two objects, people, places, like. So superlative degree is the highest degree of comparison. So what is the bodyguard? That what we are going to use here? The. In the comparative, any other. In the type 2, many other. That I will explain you later. Any other, and the type 2, many other. And in the superlative, what is the bodyguard or the extra word we are going to have? Without that, we cannot identify the sentence. The. That is the ultimate. That is the greatest degree of comparison. Let's come to some of the words through which we can identify it comes in which category. So we are comparing the adjectives here. Bright, brighter, brightest in the superlative. Just see that. In the positive, cold, comparative, colder. Here, coldest. Fine, finer, finest. Strong, stronger, strongest. But sometimes there will be some words we cannot use EST or ER, that kind of words. Beautiful, more beautiful, and most beautiful. More beautiful, most beautiful. And there are some irregular words of adjective. They are good, better, best, and bad, worse, worst, and little, less, least, little, less, least. So I hope this time you do have the knowledge what and all the bodyguards are there for these 3 degrees of comparison. Here in the positive degree, no other, and we could see as. And in the type 2, very few. In the comparative, than. And in the superlative, the. Highest, the. Here, let's go to the sentences here. I will take some of the type 1 sentences here. No other. So as I told you, how we can identify, to remember the bodyguards. Identify the positive sentence. No other teacher is as old as Rama. It is in which degree, children? Identify. It is in the positive degree. No other teacher is as old as Rama. Now, coming to the comparative degree, Rama is older than any other teacher. What is the bodyguard here? Any other, or we could see than. Comparison between comparing the 2 nouns. Rama is older than any other teacher. Now, superlative. Rama is the oldest, ultimate, the oldest teacher. I hope you got that. Now, seeing the sentence, I hope you are in a capacity to identify that. Now, let's go to the type 2. Actually, type 1 is very simple. You can identify whether no other is there. In the positive, you can make up that is positive. Or any other than comparative. And the, of course, superlative. Now, coming to the type 2, while changing it is little bit tricky. Here we are starting with, in the type 2 positive sentences, we are starting with very few. Simple, no other. Very few teachers among the many teachers, plural. What is auxiliary verb here? Are as old as Rama. I hope you got that. What are the bodyguards? Very few and are as. So we have to write in a plural form. Are as old as. Now coming to the comparative degree. Rama is older than, here we can use not any other. In the type 2 we are not going to use any other. We are going to use many other. You can write most or many. Many, any, many. Simple or easy to remember. Many you can write. Many other teachers. So that is the comparative degree. And in the superlative, here one. Whether it is there in the type 1, simple sentence, no. Is the, Rama is the oldest. But here there is one extra bodyguard like one of the. So one of the oldest teacher. So that is the superlative degree. I will tell you one simple sentence for the type 1. Mount Everest is the tallest peak in India. Mountain peak in the world. What you are going to write? Which degree it is? Is the tallest, superlative, correct? How we are going to change in the positive? No other mountain peak or peak is as tall as Mount Everest in the world. Correct? Positive. Now how we are going to change it in the comparative? Mount Everest is taller than any other peak. Mount Everest is taller than any other peak. Now, if they have given same thing, suppose Mount Everest is one of the, suppose children, don't misunderstood the sentence. Yes, here Mount Everest is one of the highest peak in the world. One of the, I hope you got that idea. Which degree it is? Superlative. So how we are going to change in the positive? Very few mountain peaks are as tall as Mount Everest. Got it? Comparative degree. Mount Everest is, how we are going to write? Taller than, what is the word? Any or many? Many other peaks in the world. I hope you got that. So now you should be in a capacity to identify. Then of course, and definitely it is going to come for 2 marks. Change into other degrees. They will give you one sentence. You have to identify that and you have to write. So this is a very important point you have to remember. Identify and you have to change. I will give you some other statement that you have to write it in your notes book as a homework. Rama is taller than many other boys. Type 1 or type 2? It is in the type 2, isn't it? You change it into other degrees of comparison. Here, Rama is taller than any other boy. Rama is taller than any other boy. Which type? Type 1 or type 2? It is in the type 1. It's very simple. I hope you got the idea. Now, and at the same time, now you are in a position to identify the degrees and to change. Remember the bodyguards, whatever the bodyguards have given you, to remember that so that you can change that in the different degrees of comparison. One more sentence. Taj Mahal is one of the most beautiful monument in the world. One of the, type 1 or type 2? It is a type 2. One of the highest degree, superlative. How we are going to change? Write this in your notes book as the homework. And if you want, I will give you some other examples so that you can copy the same, or you can write some 5-6 sentences. If you are interested, you can write 10 sentences as homework and you have to change that. You only take some of the sentences and you have to change. So remember the bodyguards and write and change the degrees. So what we have discussed, 3 degrees of comparison, what and all the rules that you have to keep in mind while identifying and while changing. Isn't it fun, children, learning a grammar? I hope you have understood, and I want you, all of you, to write this. I will send the pic of this in your notes book. Thank you, children. Have a great day and take care of yourself.